The stats menu, one of the most popular features of Session. And since the new Session update, I've been asked a lot what my new stats are. Now, I have made 2 videos like this in the past, but apparently my old stats don't really work well in this new update, and they seem a little bit broken. So in this video, I'm going to show you what my stats have been since the update. We're going to start a brand new custom preset. I'll also go over my gameplay settings a little bit later. We'll do camera settings, all that stuff. All of these values are out of 20, so default is usually 10 with the exception of a couple of them. So everything right now is set to default. We're going to start with the first one, gravity, which is actually one of the most important ones, and I still stand by 1, 2, 3. 13 or 3 above default being the most realistic. The way that I figured this out was I recorded my ollie in real life. I set the game's max pop height to match mine and then adjusted the gravity until it matched. 3 notches above default seemed to be absolutely perfect. Push force and max push speed actually depend on like what you're skating, so I keep these at default unless I need more speed in like a tight space. So like I'll boost this up if I need to be able to like, you know, skate the set with only a couple pushes from like right about here, which usually if I want to skate a set, I'll start from like running and then push onto the board and then ollie it that way. So these 2 default. Foot braking friction, you know, I keep this at 14. 4 notches above default. Banking turn rate. I actually turn this completely off. So like, let's say if it's on full, watch how much I actually like turn. Like, I don't want to be able to do that. It just turns way too sharp. Having this on default, we'll just do the same kind of turn. See, it turns a little bit less, but still, like, I don't know, just a little bit too much. Like, you get a lot of slide right there. So I turn this completely off so that, like, I still got loose trucks right now, so I'm gonna turn, but that's a lot more realistic right there. Like, with the loose trucks that I have right now, like, that's a lot more realistic. Crouching bank rate. So while you're crouching and you want to, like, set up for, like, a backside 360 or something, like, kind of, like, wind up, it's gonna affect how much you turn while you do that. But I like to keep this roughly at 4 notches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm not completely locked to going straight if I want to like wind up. I can do like a little bit of a turn too. For this next feature, I feel like Jerome Banks is perfect to demonstrate this. Pop board to body distance. This controls how far away your board is flipping from your body. So this is default right here. Like you can see with the kick flip, the board is like pretty close to the feet. And if we wanted to do something like a hippie flip, that's going to be quite difficult to do because the board is so close to the feet, it's just going to hit the rail. Now, I don't really do hippie flips too much, but when I do, I like to change this all the way to like, I don't know, there. It all depends on like the height of the rail that you're skating. Like right now I got my pop height on default, so like my max height is like just above the rail. So I needed the board to have enough clearance to get under the rail, so its max pop height is now lower. For this setting, I keep it on default 8, but I change it as I need it. The next one we're gonna change is low pop height. What is the lowest possible pop that you can do? You can actually already control what your lowest pop is, so it kind of really doesn't matter. Like if I do a really quick flick right there, like I can still get low pops. If I hold it down for slightly longer, you know, you can get like higher pops. We can keep going. It all depends on like how much you're crouched, but a quick flick will give you something like this. I set this to about 4. That way when I do a really quick flick, it's not gonna like actually pop me up too much. It's gonna do something like this. Like I can still get up a curb, I just gotta, you know, hold down a little bit longer, which in real life, if you're doing an ollie up a curb, like you're gonna give it a little bit more pop instead of just like, you know, huh. So 4 is where I keep that. High pop height. Now this one is completely up to you because every skater is different, you know, like every skater has different pop heights. Like if you're just starting out as a skater, your pop height's not gonna be that high. So like my max pop height right now, there you go, is that. So if I try to ollie up something that's a little bit higher, I'm not gonna make it. So right now I'm set to default and I can actually make it up the ledge. If you wanna be able to ollie up something like just a little bit higher, like I barely made that one, you just raise your pop height by like, I don't know, 2 notches or something, and it should be pretty flawless to be able to ollie up that. So like you just kinda mess with your pop height as you need it. You don't always need to have it at like the max. Oh! I made it. So yeah, this one varies. I usually keep it on default. Sometimes I'll like lower it to 8 if I need to have a little bit less pop, just to make something look a little bit more realistic. If I need a little bit more pop, I'll raise this by a little bit. Definitely not gonna have it like max pop height because that's just ridiculous. That's a completely different game right there. So yeah, default. Next one up is grind pop height. Now I like to keep it at around 6 notches. So when I pop out of this nose grind, it's not gonna be like completely like really popped out. Like you can see a little a little bit of pop there. Now this will affect like how high your flip tricks are gonna be out of it, but like they're still possible. You're not gonna be popping like huge kick flips out of it or anything. But again, just like the other setting, like if you want to be able to, that was actually a somewhat nice 5-0 tray flip. But if I wanted to do something like 5-0 to 5-0, like I'm not really quite able to do that. So we can raise this back to like default, and we should be able to get the back truck back onto the other rail, so like that. So I allowed it to pop a little bit higher, and I was just barely able to make it on to the rail. So I'm gonna keep this on default, but I adjust it as I need it. It all really depends on like what you're doing and like how you want your tricks to look. Manual pop height. I actually like having this at 6, so we'll go 4 below default. This one you can actually control how high you pop out. So what you're really doing is actually limiting the pop height from like the manual input. So right here, I went straight from balancing the manual, and then I flicked up to be able to get the ollie. And that's where you get the differences. So like from this balance right here, if I just flick up, that's gonna be my manual pop height. However, if I do this, hold down, and then crank the back foot first before flicking, you can pop a lot higher. So the manual pop height one, that one's completely controllable like in the manuals. Body rotation rate. Now I do like to keep this at around 12. However, to do 360s on flat, you don't actually rely on that. You actually use your sticks right there, like your feet. You need them to finish the rotation. So frontside 360, I'm gonna flick the sticks outwards to help me, and you don't actually have to do both at the same time. Like I can do just one. You can use one stick and kind of give yourself a little bit more style with your rotation. So I just use one stick to kind of bring it around. So body rotation rate on manual rotation input is at 12. I keep body rotation friction at default. In-air board orient speed. So if I want to kickflip back tail and I don't want to use the triggers to get into it, you know, you do that. So it's going to be like how quickly you can control where the board goes after you pop it with the sticks. So if I turn this all the way off, we can try to do the kickflip back tail with the sticks, but you can see that it didn't really turn that quickly after I popped. Like, it didn't turn all the way at all. But if you have this all the way off, you're gonna have to use the triggers to get into it to turn your body and your board. Now, I actually like having this at default because I do use the triggers quite a bit if I wanted to get into a trick. So like I use them a little bit, but I still use the sticks too. So yeah, I like just keeping this one on default. Oh, we're gonna need some more wax on the ledge. We'll talk about the whole wax thing in a little bit, but for right now, we're gonna set the flip speed. I like just keeping it 1 above default. That way, if I have my max pop height down to like 8, I can still do double flips on flat ground and have it just barely make it, because I don't tend to like lower my max pop height lower than 8, and I don't really raise it above 12. But I mean, I do complain about like the board always doing double flips, and I think I know why it's doing them, and it's not because of my flip speed. I realized if I just barely flick out of the dead zone, I can still get like some pretty good flips. But my habit is always like, you know, flicking it to the max, like flicking it all the way till it hits the plastic. So if it's flipping a little bit too fast for you, you can always like lower this down to like whatever you think is fair. Especially if you have a habit of like constantly like flicking it like really fast. No, I'm sticking to flip speed up by 1. And then same thing for scoop speed. I'll just up it by 1. Scoop friction, I just leave it on default. Sync, flips, and scoops. This is one that I'm actually excited about for when it works as intended. I keep this on for now because when you have it off, like it's crazy to try to get, even if I go like super slow, like you can still get a 3 flip, but more often than not, you get the double tray or like a triple like craziness. But even if I'm super careful with the inputs, like you can still get a 3 flip, but it's a little bit harder to get unless you completely turn down your flip speed, turn down your scoop speed. And yeah, double late varial flips and all that, like they're possible with this setting off. Like you can do some crazy stuff not having this synced. So right there, I got a late back foot 3 flip. Oh, so as much as I want to have this off, I keep it on for now until it actually works like consistently and we actually have full control over everything. Grind friction, also known as the wax setting. This one depends on what you're skating. Default is 7. Right now on default, we're at a long bench. We can We can grind it. I start falling off because grind alignment's a little bit low. But we can grind it and it slides pretty well. But if I raise this all the way up, so if I go slow at this, I'm not gonna go that far. Like we're just stuck now. Gonna lower grind friction all the way. And now, it's a little bit too much. Oh, hold up. Hold up, 1 second. Wait. Hang on, we're still going. We got day one truck going on right there. Do I dare do it again? Okay, good. Now, I didn't know if I wanted to manual or not. I was just like, nah, I'll land it. So I'm gonna raise this actually maybe to, we'll have it on 8. Just give it a little bit more friction. Like, I don't want it to slide too much. Yeah, that feels good. Grind rotation rate. I actually like having this boosted quite a bit. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get the nose grind again, and then quickly, oh, I just want to be able to like rotate a little bit faster into certain tricks. Oh, hit a nut. So if I wanted to do something like a 5-0 and then to back tail or something, like I want to be able to like, oh, rotate it a little bit faster. Yeah, I just keep grind rotation rate on 16. Power slide friction. I want to be able to power slide a little bit longer than you can normally. So like a normal power slide is roughly about that long. If I'm power sliding and I'm at full speed, I want to be able to go a little bit further. So we're gonna do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, that's good. I don't know, it just gives you options. Like I don't have to slide the whole way. I can always just like end it quickly, but it just gives you a little bit less friction as if you had harder wheels. Board control side impulse. I turn this up by 2 notches. Now what that does is the board control, when you pop over, it determines like how much you pop over to the left or to the right when you use the pockets. Board control extra pitch. Oh, my controller disconnected. The one trick this is actually perfect for, and that you would want to have it like really high, like maybe at max, is dolphin flips. Because when you do them like this, like flicking the stick up and to the left, if you're regular, obviously, you can actually like flick it forwards. It gives it a lot of like pitch. So that looks like a legit forward flip or dolphin flip, whatever you want to call it. Both names acceptable, but like that's not a varial flip anymore. Even having this set to where I usually have it, so 1, 2, 3, 4, it still looks pretty good. So 16 is where I like it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Board control extra scoop, I keep that at default. Same with dark slide catch angle, keep it at default. Big drop max height, keep it at default because it's broken right now anyways. Pumping impulse multiplier. You gotta go to FDR for this one. So what this does is it actually like allows you to either go faster or slower to get speed from like ramps. So the higher this is, the more pump you're gonna get out of the ramps. For now, I actually like having this like really high, like at 20, just because right now transition isn't fully implemented yet. So I need a little bit more help with getting speed coming back into the ramp. Cause like I know something like this will give me enough to get up here at least. I don't know, I'm still messing around with this one. I'm definitely leaning more towards like above default. How about we just lock it in here? We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do 5. And then max sprint speed is the last one for the advanced settings. So I keep this on default unless I want to run through the maps like a madman and just like get somewhere faster. I don't know. All right, so we got my brand new advanced settings all set up right now, but I have a confession to make. They haven't changed from what my original settings were in the last update. The only thing that really changed was like the grind pop height, but like that one all depends on what you're skating. Same with the high pop height. Yeah, I said before that I set it at 8, but like that one changes. I set it between 8 and 12, depending on what I'm skating. So 8 is the lowest one that I go to, and then 12 is the highest one that I go to. So yeah, so many people ask me what my new settings were, and I'm just like, they haven't changed. And people are like, can you make a new... That was a boring nose manual. Can you make a new video on your new stats and stuff? And I'm just like, they haven't changed? I haven't actually changed them, so I'm not sure why people are saying that they're different or they're broken in the update and they don't like my stats. Like, my stats are just what I like, and you can set them how you want. You don't have to use my stats exactly. If you want a little bit more pop height, you give yourself that pop height that you want. All right, now let's get on to the gameplay settings, how I actually play the game. So first, let's start with input mode, left foot, right foot. I've always been a fan of left foot, right foot. So like when I do a 3 flip this way, you know, my back foot is gonna be the right stick. But if I do a 3-flip switch, it's going to be my left stick down, and I'm going to do it like that. So the right stick is going to control the right foot, and the left stick is going to control the left foot. Body rotation mode is set to manual, and in this recent update, it actually got a slight overhaul. So now, instead of it being like instant, we've come full circle back to the stair set. If I was to do this, like push the triggers late before, it would have been like an instant like start rotation. So like he would have went from like here to like that position in the air instantly as soon as I pressed it. But now kind of like a hybrid between pressure and manual, where you can actually like control when you spin instead of like setting like how fast you spin right off the start. I used to love the pressure mode, but like with this new manual mode, it just feels a lot better. So I'm sticking with that. Board settings. These are all like, you know, how you feel, but I always have the front truck pretty loose, and then I have the back truck like a little bit tight. I just love being able to get like really pinched crooks like that. I have wheel bite enabled, and my wheel grip is not too grippy. I like to be able to slide a little bit on the ground. So like for 360s like that, like I like being able to kind of slide a little bit if I'm going fast enough. So I mean, I guess for the time being, I only have it set to 2. Flip trick settings. We got manual catch. I need to catch all of my tricks. So every flip trick that you see me do is all manually caught. I mean, sometimes if you time it just right, you can actually land flip tricks without having to do an input for a catch. So like, let's see if I can, yeah, there we go. So if you actually time your flips just right, the board's gonna hit the ground at the exact moment as your feet are coming down, and you'll be able to like still roll away. That's a little bit harder than catching my tricks actually. Board control mode, I like being able to, you know, pop over to the left and right and have more board control. Flip speed mode is on input speed, so like the faster I flick, faster the board goes. Slower I flick it, the slower the board's gonna go. That one went really slow. Bye. Flip continuous mode turned on. It doesn't really matter too much because I'm on manual catch anyways. I just have this turned on, why not? Scoop input mode is on normal. If you have it on small, there's kind of like a little bit of issues. But yeah, it gives you like some weird, like that's supposed to be an impossible, but like that was super weird. I keep this on normal so that like a 3-flip, you actually have to like scoop it like all the way around. Same with like an impossible. You gotta like scoop it around. And then a vario flip is halfway. Like a half scoop. Scoop speed mode is on input speed, and then scoop continuous mode is on, even though it doesn't really matter for manual catch. Pop height is unique. I want each pop to be different. So what that actually means is like a nollie is gonna be lower than an ollie. And a switch ollie is gonna be like, I guess, the same as a nollie, and a fakie ollie can be the same as your regular ollie height. So my ollie is like all the way up there right now, which does seem a little bit high. And that's why I usually do have it on 8. So we have this ollie height, and then your nollie is going to be like a little bit lower than your ollie. So like, you know, I kind of just barely made it up there like that. So that's what unique is. If you set it to global, it's going to be like every pop height is going to be the same height. Late tricks and quick shoves. I like having them on for obvious reasons, like especially for a trick you've seen me do quite a bit in this video, like being able to manual and then quick shove into nose manual, because I love doing that in real life. Just being able to like quick shove on flat, like I love being able to do that. Why would you not love being able to do that? And then the late flips. Oh, I caught wrong. I feel so dumb. There we go. Ooh, there's the low pop at work right there. So that's my flip tricks. Let's go to grind settings. I have casual grinds turned off, auto grinds turned off, no release. I actually really like this one. So with no release, I don't actually have to let go of the front foot after I pop to like get into a nose slide. Like I can just like smoothly bring it over as you would in real life. Like you can just kind of like, I mean, you get it. You can kind of just like move it over. You can control your board without having to let go first. Grind alignment. I usually have it at around 4, which is I think is default if you're on hardcore setting. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait, 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, I have it on 3. Now, the reason why I don't have it at 0 is because it's not realistic yet. In real life, if I was to lock into this 50-50 right there, I'm not sliding out like that. The game actually pushes you off the ledge. And before you say it's because I have my trucks loose at all, it doesn't matter if they're tight or not. Like, you'll still fall off no matter what. Let me demonstrate this with the lip slide, actually. The game kicks you off. Like, it actually full on kicks you right out. That's why it's not realistic yet. And in real life, as soon as you lock into a lip slide on a ledge, okay, it's not just gonna like kick you out like that. Like all my weight was right there. There's no way that that should have happened. We'll set that to 3 very quickly and we'll see. There, see, that's a lot more realistic right there. Like the pop out was a little bit weird, but whatever, that's not the point. This actually keeps you where you would be. Yes, there is a little bit of like sliding down, like you can see the board like starting to slip, but that right there is like a normal amount unless you were like completely up against the ledge. So this is like a normal amount of like sliding down. It keeps you on the ledge because right now there is no balance system. But I feel like once the balance system is actually in and we can actually control like where our weight transfer is and all that, that is when grind alignment at 0 is gonna be realistic. But for now, it's not. As soon as we have balance system, I'm turning it off. I'm gonna have 0% grind alignment, but until we have actual control and not continuously being kicked off of a ledge, 1, 2, 3 is where I stand. Because now I can actually lock into my trick. Oh, Jimmy became a tent. Anyways, I have dark slides turned on and trick relative input turned on. And what that does is, say I'm in a no slide right now. To pop out, it's gonna be relative to the direction of the board. So right now, my right foot is on the left side, and if I flick the right stick to the left, that's how I'm gonna pop. So if I was to do the same thing, I enter the front side no slide and I flick the back foot down instead of left, it's gonna flick a heel flip because it's gonna kick the back foot over towards me, so like down. So I'll do a quick front side no slide and then nollie back heel out. If you have it turned off, it's gonna be like every flip trick out of grinds is gonna be as if you're doing it off flat. So if I flick it to the left now, it's gonna do a kick flip instead. So it takes a little bit of the stress of, you know, trying to figure out which way your board's actually facing and like flip it properly. However, bring on the stress, turn it on. Revert settings. I have revert on ground and revert on landing. Now for revert sensitivity, do not copy this. I've got it set to max because I like being able to like easily revert when I want to. Now, a lot of people have trouble with this because like when they go to micro adjust, they end up reverting. So like when they do something like this, they end up reverting. But for me, for some reason, it doesn't bug me. Like I'm used to like micro adjusting without reverts happening. Like reverts are still enabled. I can still do them as much as fast as I want to, but I can always micro adjust and I never have the revert issue. It could be my PlayStation 4 controller, who knows? But yeah, don't copy that. And then I have auto reverts turned off because I don't want the game auto reverting for me. Big drop landing input is broken, so I keep it disabled. As soon as it's working properly, I'm gonna have it enabled. Now for my camera settings, I like the way that this looks. So all I do is just have this set to near and then just have this enabled. I don't really mess around with the camera angle too much, so near is perfect for me. I guess if I was to have custom camera settings, maybe something like this would be my custom riding settings. I don't know. Stance auto offset, I turn it on, and then these two I actually keep at default. Like I just like the amount that it goes up and the amount that it turns. It's fine for me. So yeah, I know a lot of people like might not like something like this kind of like camera angle, especially if the foot's like constantly kicking you in the face. So I don't know, just most of the time I just have this set to near, and it's pretty good for me. I can still see everything that I'm doing. I can have like a low angle for the board. And I guess if you really must know, like I have the physical animations turned on. I have Casper's on advanced. I have Primos enabled. I have grabs enabled. In case people want to know what my video settings are for recordings, I usually just have it at 60 frames per second. Always lock your frame rate. Otherwise,
you're gonna have a bad time.
But yeah, I just turn everything on high. I used to have it on epic, but after this update, you know, performance kind of took a hit everywhere, and there's really no difference between the high setting and the epic setting anyway. So yeah, those are all the settings that I have for every single video and live stream that you guys see me play. It really hasn't changed since the last update. And if there's a setting that you don't like, you can just change it. You don't actually have to follow my settings 100%. Like you can actually set them however you want. My settings are just a baseline for what I like, and then you just start from there and customize how you want. But that is gonna do it for this video. Hopefully you guys found it educational. I don't know, hopefully you guys like my settings and you know, have fun with the game. Just make it yours. So if you want to keep up with any more session content, hit that subscribe button. So until next time, this is Jail Nightmare, and you'll see me in the next video.